Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Real Low Dad. Today we begin the first episode in my mini-series on the McLane Edger restoration project. This is going to be about a 3, maybe 4 episode series going over the teardown, refurbishment, and putting back together the McLane Edger that I so graciously received from my father-in-law. So looking over some things these past couple days, I noticed that there were a couple issues with this. Not too many, but there were some things that needed to be addressed. So we're going to go over those real quick. Okay, the first thing that I noticed when I started taking an in-depth look at this guy was here. The bearings are shot in this guy. It's kind of hard to tell, but there's a ton of play between the blade and pulley. You can probably hear that there. So I went ahead, McLane wanted about $20 per bearing. I did some internet research. I found a 4-pack of sealed bearings for about $8. Those should be in the mail, depending on holiday delays, things like that. I should have those any day now. So those will be replaced, and we'll tighten that thing up really well. Also, this front bit here, there's a guard piece, and if you actually look close, you can see where it's just snapped off, probably due to the back and forth movement from this due to the shot bearings. So that's also on order and will be replaced when it comes time to rebuild this component. Okay, right now my main focus for what we're starting on today is removal of the engine here. I'll also have to remove the throttle control there, and because it's all one piece, and I need to look into getting a new throttle cable for the issue with that. Now the issue with this not running was due to just the carb being gummed up due to years of sitting, poor fuel, things like that. So this is going to be a big shout out to Paul's Prime Cuts. He with all the magic that he can do, he found me a replacement, a rebuild kit for this thing. It hasn't been made since the 90s. I don't know how he found it, but he did, and that is in the mail as well, pending, of course, holiday delays. So let's go ahead and start getting to work on this guy. Okay, so here we are. We have the engine off. It was a very simple process, just 4 nuts, 4 bolts, both 1/2 inch in size, so you'll need a combination of 2 wrenches, 2 ratchets, one or the other, and that'll do you. It did take a little bit of oomph to bust the nuts off, but once that happened, they just came undone super easy with the fingers. I frankly can't remember a time where I got something off that easy with just fingers. So with this off now, we have an exposure. We can see the rest of what we have going on here. I did have to remove the broken bit from here in order to facilitate getting the belt off, but this is just held on with a couple more nuts and bolts. I did also disconnect the throttle linkage up here. That was just, I used 8mm, and it was probably a standard one, but 8mm socket fit, and these are just rather just like sheet metal screws pretty much. So that pulled the throttle cable off, and I did have to take apart the housing to get it through, to get it out. And now here is where my throttle cable is broken. This right underneath this metal thing that I have bundled up with electrical tape, the plastic snapped, so the throttle was just flopping around in there. So we're going to have to look into coming up with a better, more permanent solution for that. But all in all, it was a very simple process to get the motor off. I did that, 1, because I'm going to be stripping everything down and painting this, but 2, with the carb work coming up, I don't want to be down here on the ground. I want to be up on my workbench. It'll be a whole lot easier on my back, and just it'll be a whole lot better time. So with that now, we're going to look into getting this pieces off, getting this apart, and moving on from there. Okay, so there we just have 2 cotter pins, and bam, the linkage pops right out. Okay, to take the, I guess, the blade engagement lever and the depth adjuster, to take that off, it's a 11/16 and a 5/8. 5/8 here is on the outside, 11/16 here on the inside with the spring. And let me make sure I'm doing this the right way. There we go. This guy's he's being a little difficult to get off. This is one tough nut to bust. Oh, there we go. It's all over now. Okay, and here's our little lever. And we're going to put this guy back together. We don't want to lose any bits. Okay, all that's left now is taking this assembly off. I went ahead, and it's also for this little set here, we have a 5/8 on this side, 11/16, just like up here, and then we got a 1/2 inch on both sides, just like the engine mounts. So we're going to break out this guy first, and then we'll do the little guy last, and move on. Still not ready to easily get off with the fingers. Oh, maybe now. No, sir. And if you're doing this, be careful. There's a sheet metal screw here that holds this guard in place. You don't want to slice open your palm. Okay, there we go. Bam! Popping off with just the fingers. We'll set that guy over there for now. And I got a 1/2 inch wrench already on the back here. So let's, and yep, be mindful of that. So let's break it loose from down this way. There we go. And again, off with just the fingers. Man, this is exciting. Okay, now we're going to set this whole cutting unit right over there, and that leaves us, let's see, hold on, before I continue, let's put that back on there so we don't lose it. It's all going to be coming apart here soon. Okay, so there we have it. We're down now to the frame and the wheels. So there we have it. We got the engine off. We got the linkages taken apart, the cutting unit taken apart. We are ready for the next steps, which are going to be we're going to focus on the main frame unit, the yellow pieces. Next episode, we will take the wheels off. We will tear the whole unit apart, break it down into individual pieces, and then start prepping it for paint. But all in all, this was a pretty easy process. You know, it was maybe 30 to 45 minutes if I didn't have any filming to do. Or beers to drink. Honestly, probably 20. But it's a good starting point. But anyway, hope you enjoyed what we have so far, and we will see you in the next episode.